The news of Admiral Krex's defeat spread across the galaxy like wildfire. 500 of the Council's best ships had been effortlessly defeated by 50 human vessels. The primitive apes had shown technology that made the galaxy's most advanced civilizations look like children playing with toys. The Galactic Council was in complete chaos. Some members demanded immediate war against humanity, despite the obvious futility. Others called for surrender. A few wise species began questioning whether the Council had the right to rule anyone at all. Secretary General Moon Jae arrived at the Council capital 3 days after the battle. She came aboard the human vessel Sejongdaewang, accompanied by a diplomatic team that would change galactic civilization forever. Moon Jae was a career diplomat who had spent 20 years preparing for this moment. She understood alien psychology better than most aliens understood themselves. Her mission was not to conquer the galaxy, but to teach it how to govern itself properly. Dr. Yang Hai walked beside her as they entered the council chamber. Yang Hai was Earth's leading expert on interspecies relations. She had studied the cultures of all 847 council species and knew exactly how to speak to each one. Captain Kojun commanded their security detail, but unlike previous human visits, this one was peaceful. Kojun's job was not to intimidate, but to demonstrate that humans could be trusted with power. The council chamber was packed with representatives who had never seen humans before the recent crisis. They stared at the small beings who had somehow defeated their greatest military force without killing anyone. Council leader Zephyros tried to maintain his authority, but his voice shook with fear. "Humans, you have committed acts of war against the Galactic Council. We demand." Secretary General Moon Jae raised her hand calmly. "The Galactic Council no longer exists. It has been dissolved." Shocked silence filled the chamber. Then angry voices erupted from hundreds of alien representatives. "You cannot dissolve the council," shouted Military Commander Helix. "We have ruled for 10,000 years. And in those 10,000 years," Dr. Yang Hai replied, "you have enslaved 47 civilizations, wiped out 12 species completely, and treated developing worlds like your personal property. Your rule has ended." Moon Jae activated a holographic display showing the new governmental structure humanity had designed. "The Galactic Federation will replace the Council. Every species will have equal representation based on population, not military power." Trade Minister Korvac stood up angrily. "This is ridiculous. Some species are clearly superior to others. Democracy cannot work on a galactic scale." "It will work," Captain Kojun said quietly, "because we will make it work." The quiet confidence in his voice reminded everyone in the chamber that humanity now possessed the most powerful military in the galaxy. But unlike the old council, humans seemed to use their power to protect rather than oppress. Chief Scientist Meridian studied the Federation proposal carefully. "What about species that refuse to join your new government?" "They are free to govern themselves," Moon Jae replied. "But they will not be allowed to interfere with other species' development. The days of stronger civilizations bullying weaker ones are over." Dr. Yang Hai began explaining the new Federation principles. Every species would have the right to develop naturally. Military conquest of primitive worlds would be considered a crime against sentience. Technology sharing would be voluntary, not forced. Most importantly, Yang Hai continued, developing civilizations will be protected during their growth period. No more specimen collection, no more hunting preserves, no more slavery. An alien representative from the Vorthak species raised a tentacle. "What gives humans the right to make these rules?" "Why should we follow your orders?" Secretary General Moon Jae smiled sadly. "Because someone needs to stop the suffering. For 10,000 years, advanced species have terrorized primitive worlds. Billions of sentient beings have died or been enslaved because no one was strong enough to say, 'Stop.'" She gestured to the chamber around them. "We are strong enough. We could have destroyed every one of your worlds and taken over completely. Instead, we're offering you the chance to join a better system." Captain Kojun added, "The choice is yours. Join the Federation willingly or continue as you are. But if you choose to continue enslaving other species, you will deal with us." Over the following weeks, the transformation began. Most alien species chose to join the new Federation rather than face human military power. A few tried to resist and quickly learned that human technology was even more advanced than they had feared. The Kallax Empire tried to continue their slave raids on primitive worlds. A single human ship appeared in their capital system and politely asked them to stop. When they refused, The ship demonstrated human weapons technology by carefully destroying one uninhabited moon. The Calyx Empire joined the Federation the next day. The Zethran Confederacy attempted to hide their ongoing experiments on captured primitives. Human intelligence agents appeared in their most secure laboratories and freed every test subject. The Confederacy's leaders found themselves transported to a human court where they were tried for crimes against sentience. But humans didn't rule through fear alone. They also offered help to species willing to change. Dr. Yang Hai worked with former council species to establish rehabilitation programs for civilizations that had been enslaved. Captain Ko Jun led joint exploration missions where aliens and humans worked together as equals. Secretary General Moon Jae helped draft laws that protected the rights of all sentient beings. The most important change was in how the galaxy treated developing civilizations. Species that had been marked for specimen collection were instead offered protection and voluntary contact when they were ready. Earth opened its first embassy on the former council capital 6 months after the Federation's founding. Ambassador Ouyang cut the ribbon on a building that represented everything the old council had opposed: equality, cooperation, and respect for all sentient life. The embassy's dedication plaque read, "In memory of silence broken for the greater good." Inside the embassy, former council leader Zephyros worked as a junior aide to Secretary General Moon Jae. The proud alien who had once planned to hunt humans for sport now helped draft legislation protecting primitive species from exploitation. "How do you bear it?" Zephyros asked Moon Jae one day. "Having the power to rule the galaxy but choosing to share it instead?" Moon Jae looked out the embassy window at the bustling alien city below. Representatives from hundreds of species walked the streets together, no longer divided into rulers and slaves. "Power shared is power multiplied," she replied. "The old council ruled through fear and maintained control through oppression. That kind of power always destroys itself eventually." She turned back to Zephyros. "We chose a different path. We use our strength to lift others up instead of keeping them down. That creates loyalty and cooperation instead of fear and rebellion." Dr. Yang Hai joined their conversation, carrying reports from across the galaxy. The Meridian species just made first contact with the Talari civilization. Both species requested human mediation to ensure the contact goes smoothly. "And the Vorthak?" Moon Jae asked. "They've established their first university for interspecies studies. They want to understand how other cultures think instead of just conquering them." Captain Ko Jun appeared in the doorway. "Ma'am, we just received a message from Earth. 3 more primitive civilizations have achieved faster than light travel. They're requesting Federation membership." Moon Jae smiled. "Schedule meetings with each species. Make sure they understand membership is voluntary, and that they can withdraw any time they choose." Zephyros shook his head in amazement. The old council would have immediately conquered them and enslaved their populations. "Yes," Moon Jae agreed. "And that's why the old council is gone." As the sun set over the alien capital, 3 humans and 1 reformed alien continued working on legislation that would protect trillions of sentient beings across the galaxy. The age of oppression was ending. The age of cooperation had begun. In the depths of space, human ships continued their silent patrol of the galaxy, watching for signs of slavery, exploitation, or abuse. They were no longer hidden observers. They were the guardians of freedom for every species brave enough to reach for the stars. Earth had remained silent for 50 years, while aliens planned humanity's destruction. But when the insults finally went too far, the galaxy learned that some silences hide the most powerful voices of all. The universe would never be the same again, and for the first time in 10,000 years, that was a very good thing. The Galactic Council capital was in chaos. For 3 days, alien leaders had been arguing about the impossible message from Earth. How could primitive creatures break their most secure communication systems? How could they speak perfect council languages? Most importantly, how could they threaten the most powerful civilization in the galaxy? Council leader Zephyros called an emergency meeting. Representatives from all 847 species gathered in the massive council chamber. The mood was tense and fearful. "This must be some kind of trick," Military Commander Helix declared. "Primitive apes cannot possess advanced technology. It's impossible." "Then explain how they hacked our networks," Trade Minister Korvek shot back. "Our best technicians can't figure out how they did it." Chief Scientist Meridian studied data displays showing energy readings from Earth's solar system. Something is definitely wrong, she admitted. Our sensors are detecting massive energy signatures near their world, but the readings don't match any known technology. As the aliens argued, a new ship appeared at the edge of their solar system. The vessel was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. It was sleek and silver, about the size of a small city. It moved through space without any visible engines. Most frightening of all, it appeared on their sensors suddenly, as if it had materialized from nothing. Unknown vessel? Identify yourself, demanded the Council's defense commander through radio. The response came immediately, in perfect Council standard language. This is the Earth vessel Hanbok. We request permission to dock at your station. Panic spread through the Council chamber. The ship's energy signature was unlike anything in their databases. Their military scanners showed weapon systems that generated power readings off their measurement scales. Ambassador Oh Young stood on the bridge of the Hanbok. She was a small woman, but her presence filled the room. For 20 years, she had worked as Earth's top intelligence agent. She spoke 15 alien languages fluently and understood alien psychology better than most aliens did. Ambassador, her aide Dr. Kang Isol said, "They're scanning our ship. Should I activate countermeasures?" "No need," Oh Young replied calmly. "Let them scan. Let them see what human technology looks like." Dr. Kang Isol was one of Earth's top physicists. She had helped design the quantum drive that powered the Hanbok. The drive could move the ship instantly across any distance in the galaxy. It was technology that alien scientists said was impossible. General Lim Su joined them on the bridge. He was Earth's top military strategist and Oh Young's security chief for this mission. "Ma'am, the alien defense fleet is moving into position around us." 300 ships, Oh Young smiled. "Only 300? They're being cautious." The truth was that 300 alien ships couldn't scratch the Hanbok's shields. Human defensive technology was decades ahead of anything the Council possessed. But Oh Young wasn't here to fight. She was here to teach. On the Council station, aliens watched in amazement as the human ship approached. It moved with impossible grace, flowing through space like water. Their military experts had never seen anything like it. "How is it moving?" whispered one alien engineer. "There are no engine emissions, no reaction thrust, nothing." "Look at the hull composition," said another. "Our scanners can't even identify the materials." Council leader Zephyros tried to maintain his authority. "Send a message. Tell them to stop where they are. We will board their vessel and inspect it." The response from the Hanbok was polite but firm. "We appreciate your offer, but we prefer to meet on your station. We will dock in docking bay 7 in 10 minutes. "That bay is too small for a ship of your size," the docking controller protested. "We will make it fit," came the calm reply. 10 minutes later, the impossible happened. The massive human ship somehow compressed itself to fit into a space 1/10 its size. Alien scientists stared at their instruments in disbelief. The ship had changed its physical dimensions without losing any mass or energy. Ambassador Oh Young walked through the docking bay with General Lim Su and Dr. Kang Isul. They wore simple diplomatic uniforms, but they moved with confident authority. Behind them came 20 human guards in advanced armor that made the aliens' best military equipment look primitive. The council chamber fell silent as the humans entered. For 50 years, aliens had talked about humans like animals. Now they were face to face with the primitive apes they had been planning to hunt and enslave. Ambassador Oh Young walked to the center of the chamber. She was surrounded by representatives from 847 different species, many of them twice her size, but somehow she commanded the room. Honored council members, she began in perfect council standard language. "Thank you for agreeing to meet with us." Council leader Zephyros tried to regain control. "You have entered our space without permission. You have threatened our civilization. Explain yourselves immediately." Oh Young's expression didn't change. "We have been listening to your conversations for 50 years. We have recordings of every council session where you discussed enslaving our people, hunting our families, and using our children as pets," she gestured, and Dr. Kang Isul activated a holographic display. Audio recordings began playing. The chamber filled with alien voices casually discussing the best ways to cook human flesh and train human children as house pets. "These recordings are fake," Military Commander Helix declared, but his voice wasn't confident. "Are they?" Oh Young asked. She nodded to Dr. Kang Asul, who began playing video recordings of the actual council sessions. The aliens watched themselves planning humanity's destruction. Trade Minister Korvac stood up angrily. Even if these recordings are real, you are still primitive creatures. Your technology is centuries behind ours. You have no right to threaten us. Oh Yong smiled coldly. Primitive? Let me show you something. She touched a device on her wrist. Instantly, holographic displays filled the chamber. The displays showed technical specifications for human technology. Quantum drives that could cross the galaxy in hours. Weapons that could destroy stars. Shields that could deflect black holes. This is impossible, Chief Scientist Meridian gasped. These energy levels violate known physics. Your physics, Dr. Kang Isul corrected. Human science advanced beyond your understanding 30 years ago. General Lim Su stepped forward. We have 200 ships hidden in your solar system right now. You cannot detect them. Your most advanced sensors cannot find them. Each ship could destroy your entire defense fleet alone. The aliens looked at their military displays. They showed no enemy ships anywhere in the system. You're bluffing, Military Commander Helix said, but he was sweating. General Lim Su smiled. Computer, reveal fleet positions. Suddenly, 200 energy signatures appeared on every alien display. The ships had been there all along, completely invisible to alien technology. They surrounded the council station in perfect formation. Panic erupted in the chamber. Council members began shouting orders to their fleets. Defense commanders tried to target the human ships. Nothing worked. Their weapons couldn't lock onto the human vessels. Ambassador Ouyang waited for the noise to die down. Then she spoke in a voice that carried clearly through the chamber. For 50 years you have spoken about humans as if we were animals. You have planned to enslave us, hunt us, eat us, and use our children as toys. You did this because you believed we were too stupid to stop you. She paused, looking around the chamber at hundreds of alien faces. You were wrong about our intelligence. You were wrong about our technology. You were wrong about our capabilities. But most importantly, you were wrong about our character. Ouyang gestured again. The holographic displays changed to show images of human cities, human art, human families. We could have destroyed your civilization any time in the past 30 years. We could wipe out every one of your worlds in a single day. But we didn't. Do you know why? The chamber was completely silent. Because unlike you, we don't enjoy causing suffering. Unlike you, we don't see other species as animals to be used. Unlike you, we believe that intelligence brings responsibility, not just power. Council leader Zephyros found his voice. What do you want from us? Ambassador Ouyang's expression became serious. We want you to become better than you are. We want you to stop treating developing civilizations like your personal property. We want you to remember that every species was primitive once, even yours. She pulled out a data pad and placed it on the central podium. These are our terms for peaceful coexistence. You have 30 standard galactic days to consider them. If you refuse, we will be forced to demonstrate why we remained hidden for so long. General Lim Su added quietly. Our restraint has been an act of mercy, not weakness. Do not mistake one for the other. The humans turned and walked out of the chamber, leaving behind a galaxy that would never be the same again. As their ship departed, one alien engineer whispered to another. Did you see how their ship moved? It's like they were playing with us. His colleague nodded grimly. I think they were. Captain Li Bin floated in the command center of the human ship Teguk, watching the stars through the wide window. The ship was hidden behind a large asteroid far from Earth. No one could see them here. For 30 years, Li Bin had watched alien ships come and go near his home planet. The aliens thought humans were stupid. They were wrong. The Teguk was not like the rockets that Earth showed to the world. This ship could travel faster than light. It had weapons that could destroy planets. But most important, it was completely invisible to alien technology. The aliens had no idea humans could build such things. Dr. Park Nari walked into the command center. She was the ship's language expert. For 20 years, she had been listening to alien radio signals. She knew how to speak 47 different alien languages. The aliens never bothered to hide their conversations. They thought humans were too stupid to understand. Captain, Park Nari said, you need to hear the new recording from the Galactic Council meeting. Li Bin turned around. The Galactic Council was like a government for the whole galaxy. It had 847 different alien species as members. Earth was not a member. The aliens thought humans were too primitive to join. Park Nari pressed a button. Alien voices filled the room. She had already translated their words into Korean. "The breeding stock on the blue world continues to multiply," said one alien voice. This was how they talked about humans. "Like animals on a farm. Perhaps we should harvest some of them soon," said another voice. "The males are strong. They would be good workers in our mines." "The females produce healthy offspring," said a third voice. "Our scientists want to study their genetics." Li Bin's hands became fists. He had heard this kind of talk before, but it never stopped making him angry. The alien voices continued. "The creatures are completely unaware of our presence. They still use chemical rockets for space travel. Primitive. Should we be concerned about their nuclear weapons?" asked one alien. "Not at all," laughed another. "Their most powerful bombs are like firecrackers compared to our technology. If they ever become troublesome, we can wipe them out in minutes." Park Nari stopped the recording. "There's more, Captain." Much worse, and she played another part. This time the aliens were talking about using humans as food during long space trips. They discussed which human body parts might taste the best. They laughed about human children being adorable pets for alien families. Li Bin stood up slowly. His face was calm, but Park Nari could see the anger in his eyes. "How long have they been saying these things?" he asked. 50 years, Captain. Since they first discovered Earth." Li Bin walked to the window. He could see Earth in the distance. A beautiful blue and green planet, home to 8 billion humans who had no idea that aliens wanted to farm them like cattle. Engineer Kim Tae entered the command center. He was young but very smart. He had helped design the Taeguk and 12 other ships like it. "Captain," Kim Tae said, "the new quantum drive is ready for testing. We can now travel from here to the alien capital in just 2 hours." "How many ships do we have ready for combat?" Li Bin asked. 200, sir. All hidden around the solar system. The aliens have never detected even one of them." Li Bin nodded. For 30 years, humans had been preparing in secret, while the aliens thought humans were playing with simple rockets. Human scientists had been building the most advanced space fleet in the galaxy. Human technology was now far beyond anything the aliens had. The secret had started when a human deep space probe found alien technology floating in space. Human engineers studied it and quickly built something much better. While aliens took thousands of years to improve their technology, humans had done it in just 30 years. "Sir," Park Nari said, "there's something else. I intercepted a new transmission an hour ago." She played the recording. This time the alien voices sounded different. More serious. "The Council has made a decision about the Blue World," said a cold alien voice. "We will begin specimen collection in 6 months." "How many specimens?" asked another voice. 10,000 should be enough for initial experiments. We will take them from different regions to get a good sample. What about the remaining population? They will not notice. 10,000 out of 8 billion is nothing. We will take them at night. Simple. Park Nari stopped the recording. The command center became very quiet. "Specimen collection," Li Bin said slowly. "They plan to kidnap 10,000 humans." "For experiments," Kim Tae added. His voice was angry now, too. Li Bin looked at his crew. These were good people. Smart people. They had spent their whole careers protecting Earth from threats the world never knew existed. But now the threat was becoming real. "What are your orders, Captain?" Park Nari asked. Li Bin was quiet for a long moment. Earth's leaders had always told him to stay hidden. Watch and learn, but never reveal human capabilities. The plan was to wait until humans were strong enough to defend themselves completely. That time had come sooner than expected. "Send a message to Admiral Choi Dae on Luna Base," Li Bin said. "Tell him the aliens are planning to take our people. Ask him for permission to break radio silence." Kim Tae looked surprised. "Sir, are you sure? Once we reveal ourselves, there's no going back." "They want to take our children as pets," Li Bin said. "They want to eat our people during their space trips. They think we're too stupid to stop them." He turned back to the window. Maybe it's time to show them how wrong they are. Park Nari began typing the message to Luna Base. Admiral Choi Dae commanded all human space forces from a hidden base on the dark side of the moon. He would have to get permission from Earth's government before doing anything. "How long until the alien collection mission?" Li Bin asked. 6 months, Captain. Then we have 6 months to decide. Do we let them take our people, or do we finally tell the galaxy that Earth is not as quiet as they think? The Taeguk continued to float silently behind the asteroid. But inside the ship, humans were preparing for the most important decision in their species' history. The aliens had insulted humanity for 50 years. Soon they would learn that some insults come with a very high price. The Galactic Council's response came exactly 30 days later. Council leader Zephyros stood before the assembled representatives and delivered their decision with arrogant confidence. The Galactic Council rejects the demands of the primitive Earth creatures, he announced. We have ruled this galaxy for 10,000 years. We will not be dictated to by upstart apes who learned to use fire yesterday. Military Commander Helix stepped forward. To teach these humans their proper place, we are dispatching our grand fleet to their homeworld. Admiral Krex will command 500 of our finest warships aboard the dreadnought Dominion. The alien representatives cheered. They had convinced themselves that human technology was somehow fake. Surely their mighty fleet would crush these presumptuous creatures and restore proper order to the galaxy. Admiral Krex was the Council's most decorated military commander. He had conquered 47 star systems and never lost a battle. His flagship, the Dominion, was 2 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to destroy planets. We will show these humans what happens when primitives challenge their betters, Krex declared as his fleet prepared to depart. After we destroy their military, we will proceed with the original plan. Specimen collection will begin immediately. The journey to Earth's solar system took the alien fleet 2 weeks using their fastest drives. They arrived expecting to find a few primitive ships guarding a helpless planet. Instead, they found something that made Admiral Krex question everything he thought he knew about warfare. 50 human ships waited in perfect formation between the alien fleet and Earth. The vessels were much smaller than the alien dreadnoughts, but they radiated energy signatures that made Krex's instruments scream warnings. Only 50 ships, laughed Commander Vex, Krex's second-in-command. They must be surrendering already. But Admiral Krex was studying his sensor readings with growing unease. The human ships weren't broadcasting any identification signals. They weren't moving. They just hung in space like predators waiting for prey to come within striking distance. Fleet Admiral Bayek Wu commanded the human defensive fleet from his flagship Tegukgi. He was Earth's most experienced space commander, having fought in dozens of secret battles against alien raiders over the years. Today would be his greatest challenge. Admiral, reported Captain Shin-A from her advanced fighter Guangmyung, alien fleet composition is 500 heavy cruisers, 100 destroyers, and 1 super dreadnought. Total enemy force approximately 10 million tons. Captain Shin-A was humanity's best pilot. Her ship was an experimental fighter that used quantum mechanics to move in ways that seemed to violate physics. She could outmaneuver anything the aliens had ever built. Acknowledged, Admiral Bayek Wu replied. Commander Han Sol, are your boarding teams ready? Commander Han Sol commanded humanity's special forces. His teams were experts at taking enemy ships without killing their crews. Today they would need those skills more than ever. Ready, sir. 200 teams standing by for simultaneous boarding operations. Admiral Krex opened communications with the human fleet. His voice carried the authority of 10,000 years of galactic dominance. Human vessels, you are ordered to surrender immediately. Your planet has defied the Galactic Council and must be punished. Comply and your deaths will be quick. Admiral Bakwu's response was calm and professional. Admiral Krex, you are ordered to return to Council space immediately. Earth is under human protection. You will not be allowed to approach our homeworld, Krex laughed. 50 ships against 500? Your mathematics are as primitive as your technology. Numbers don't always determine victory, Bakwu replied quietly. Turn around now and no one needs to get hurt. Hurt? Krex's voice rose in anger. You primitive apes dare to threaten me? All ships battle formation. Prepare to destroy the human fleet. The alien ships moved into attack formation. 500 massive warships arranged themselves in a wall of steel and weapons facing the tiny human force. Admiral Bakwu sighed. I tried to warn them. All ships demonstrate human superiority. Non-lethal force only. What happened next would be remembered as the most one-sided battle in galactic history. The human ships moved like nothing the aliens had ever seen. Instead of flying through space, they seemed to flow like water. Admiral Krex watched in amazement as human vessels passed through his formation like ghosts, completely untouchable. Target the lead ship, Krex ordered. All weapons fire. 500 alien ships opened fire simultaneously. Energy beams and missiles filled space with destructive power. When the weapons fire cleared, the human ships were completely undamaged. They hadn't even moved to avoid the attacks. Captain Shinnei's fighter began its demonstration. She accelerated directly toward the alien dreadnought at impossible speed. At the last second, she turned 90 degrees without slowing down. Physics said this was impossible. Captain Shinnei did it anyway. Her ship danced through the alien formation like a butterfly through a forest. Every few seconds, she fired precisely targeted shots that disabled alien weapon systems without harming the crews. Within 10 minutes, she had single-handedly neutralized 20 alien warships. How is she moving like that? Commander Vex whispered in terror. Our computers can't even track her course. Meanwhile, Commander Han Sol's boarding teams began their operation. Human soldiers appeared on alien ships without warning. They moved through corridors like shadows, stunning alien crews with non-lethal weapons. Within minutes, every alien ship found itself occupied by human forces. The boarding teams didn't hurt anyone. They simply took control of ship systems and left the alien crews unconscious but unharmed. It was the most polite military defeat in galactic history. Admiral Krex found himself face-to-face with a human soldier in his own command center. The human was small and seemed friendly, but she had somehow walked through the dreadnought's heaviest security like it didn't exist. Admiral Krex, the soldier said politely, I'm Sergeant Li Min. I need you to order your fleet to power down their weapons. Never. Krex shouted, Guards! Kill this creature! The guards tried to fire their weapons. Nothing happened. The human soldier had somehow disabled every weapon on the ship while walking to the bridge. Sir, Sergeant Li Min said patiently, your ship is now under human control. Your crew is safe but unconscious. Please don't make this more difficult than necessary. Outside, the most embarrassing part of the battle was beginning. Human ships began gently towing alien vessels like a parent helping a child with a broken toy. The massive alien dreadnought found itself being pulled along by a single human cruiser 1/10 its size. This is impossible, Admiral Krex muttered as he watched his mighty fleet being herded like sheep. Our ships outmass yours 100-1. Mass doesn't matter when you understand quantum mechanics properly, Sergeant Li Min explained. Human technology works with physics instead of fighting against it. The entire battle lasted exactly 47 minutes. When it ended, the alien fleet was completely defeated without a single casualty on either side. Every alien ship had been disabled, boarded, and secured by human forces. Admiral Baek Woo opened communications with the alien fleet. Admiral Krex, your ships will be returned to you along with your crews. You will then return to Council space immediately. But how? Krex asked weakly. How did you do this? We could have destroyed your entire fleet in the first 10 seconds, Baek Woo explained. We chose not to. We could have killed every one of your soldiers. We chose not to. We could have taken your ships as prizes. We chose not to. He paused to let this sink in. For 30 years we have been choosing not to harm you. Today we demonstrated why. Remember this when you return home. The alien crews were awakened and their ships returned to them. As the defeated fleet prepared to leave Earth's solar system, Admiral Krex sent one final transmission. Why? He asked. Why didn't you destroy us? Admiral Baek Woo's answer was simple. Because mercy is what separates civilization from barbarism. We hope someday you will learn the difference. The alien fleet began its long journey home, carrying with them the news that would transform the galaxy. The primitive apes of Earth were not primitive at all. They were the most advanced civilization in known space, and they had chosen to show mercy instead of strength. Back on Earth, President Yoon Hai received Admiral Baek Woo's battle report. The message was brief. Mission accomplished. No casualties. Aliens are beginning to understand. The age of human silence was over. The age of human leadership was about to begin. 3 months had passed since Captain Li Bin sent his message to Luna Base. Admiral Choi Dae had been meeting with Earth's leaders every day. President Yoon Hai had called emergency sessions with world leaders. Everyone was asking the same question. Was humanity ready to reveal itself to the galaxy? The answer came during Galactic Council Session 7-439. Dr. Park Nari was monitoring alien communications as usual when the council meeting began. This session was being broadcast to all 847 member species across the galaxy. The topic was listed as Resource Management of Primitive Worlds. Park Nari knew that meant they were talking about Earth. She listened to the alien voices and translated their words in real time. What she heard made her blood run cold. Council leader Zephyros spoke first. His voice was smooth and confident. Fellow council members, today we discuss the efficient use of primitive populations. The blue world continues to be our best example. The creatures there are remarkably stupid, laughed Military Commander Helix. They have no idea we've been watching them for 50 years. They still believe they are alone in the universe. The council chamber filled with alien laughter. Parknari could hear hundreds of different species all laughing at humanity's ignorance. Trade Minister Korvax spoke next. I propose we turn their world into a hunting preserve. Many wealthy council members would pay good money to hunt the bipedal creatures. They're intelligent enough to provide sport but too primitive to fight back effectively. Excellent idea, said Zephyros. We could charge premium prices for hunting licenses. Parknari's hands were shaking as she continued translating. But the worst was still coming. Chief Scientist Meridian's voice was cold and calculating. Before we begin hunting operations, we should harvest their young. Human children would make adorable pets. They're small, easily trained, and quite cute. My own family would love to have one. The council erupted in excited chatter. Different alien species began discussing which human children they would like to own. They talked about training methods. They discussed whether human children should be allowed to speak, or if their vocal cords should be removed. Admiral Choi Day had been listening to the translation through a secure link. His voice crackled through Parknari's earpiece. Are you recording all of this? Yes, sir, Parknari whispered. Every word, the alien voices continued. Military Commander Helix had a new suggestion. We should also use their world for live fire training exercises. Our new recruits need practice with real targets. The humans would provide excellent moving targets for weapons testing. Approved, said Zephyros immediately. Schedule training exercises for next year. Try not to damage too many cities. We still need some humans left for the other projects. Parknari felt sick. She had been listening to alien insults for 20 years, but this was different. They weren't just talking about humans like animals anymore. They were planning to use human children as toys and human cities as target practice. The session was almost over when Chief Scientist Meridian spoke again. One final note about the human specimens. Our research suggests that human brain tissue might be useful for our neural enhancement projects. We should begin harvesting their brains immediately after capture. While they're still alive? Asked Trade Minister Korvax. Of course, fresh brain tissue works better. The creatures will only suffer for a few minutes. That was when Admiral Choi Day made his decision. Parknari. His voice came through the earpiece. Patch me through to President Yunhai immediately. Tell her we just heard enough. It's time for Operation Revelation. Operation Revelation had been planned for years. It was humanity's plan to reveal their true capabilities to the galaxy. Earth's leaders had always hoped they would never need to use it. Parknari contacted Earth immediately. Within 1 hour, President Yunhai had authorized the operation. Captain Song Min received his orders while commanding the stealth ship Dokdo near the alien capital world. His mission was simple but dangerous. Infiltrate the Galactic Council's communication networks and prepare to broadcast a message to the entire galaxy. Song Min was humanity's best infiltration specialist. His ship was completely invisible to alien sensors. For the past month, he had been studying the alien capital's defenses. He had found ways to hack into their systems without being detected. Beginning network infiltration, Song Min reported to his crew. Dr. Lim, start preparing the translation protocols. We need to broadcast in all 847 council languages simultaneously. Dr. Lim was Song Min's communication specialist. She had been working with Dr. Parknari to understand alien languages. Ready, Captain. I have translation programs for every known council species. Meanwhile, on Luna Base, Admiral Choi Day was coordinating the largest military operation in human history. 200 advanced warships were emerging from hidden bases throughout the solar system. These ships had been built in secret over 30 years. Each one was more advanced than anything in the alien fleet. Captain Kim Tae, now promoted to fleet captain, commanded one of the new ships. The Sejong was armed with weapons that could destroy entire planets. But today, they would be used for something much more important than destruction. All ships report ready, Kim Tae announced over the fleet communication system. Admiral Choi Day nodded. Excellent. Remember, this is not an attack. This is an introduction. We want the galaxy to know we exist, not to fear us. Dr. Parknari had finished preparing humanity's message to the galaxy. It was simple but powerful. President Yoon-hai had approved every word. Captain Song-min's voice crackled through the communication system. Network infiltration complete. I have control of the Galactic Council's main broadcasting array. Ready to transmit on your command. Admiral Choi Dae looked around the Luna Base command center. Every human in the room knew this moment would change history forever. For 50 years, Earth had remained silent while aliens planned to enslave, hunt, and eat humanity. That silence was about to end. Captain Song-min, Admiral Choi Dae said clearly, broadcast the message. Across the galaxy, every alien communication device suddenly activated. Council meetings stopped. Alien ships received emergency signals. Entire planets heard the same message at the same time. The message was broadcast in perfect alien languages. The voice was calm and polite, but there was steel underneath the politeness. This is Earth, we need to talk. The message repeated in all 847 Council languages. Then it added something that made every alien listener freeze with shock. We have been listening to your conversations for 50 years. We have recordings of every Council session. We know about your plans for our people. We know about your hunting preserves, your pet projects, and your specimen collection missions. On the alien capital world, Council leader Zephyros stared at his communication device in disbelief. Impossible, he whispered. The primitive creatures can't have this technology. The message continued. We have remained silent until now because we hoped you would choose to be better. You have disappointed us. We will arrive at your capital in 3 days to discuss new arrangements. The final part of the message was the most terrifying for the aliens. Do not attempt to harm Earth while we are traveling to meet you. You would not survive the consequences. Then the transmission ended. Across the galaxy, 847 alien species began asking the same question. If the humans had been listening for 50 years, what else had they been doing in secret? They were about to find out.